a B-47 that was used to bomb Iran. I bring that to a riot, street fight. I overdo it because you cannot sell a dream looking like a nightmare. If you're going to sell for an organization, they should first look at you like someone that has been paid. So that's why I've never been rejected for a meeting if I go physically, even without being on the person's calendar or not having an appointment, because I show up looking like $1,000,000. You can't sell a dream looking like a nightmare. So becoming a sales leader, transitioning from whatever level you are in, you might be in sales for a year, but you've developed transferable skills from whatever you were doing before. So those things impact, influence, integrity. You show up. I have never gone to any organization I work for late. It's on record, verifiable information. Someone said, go and verify. Even when I live in Aja and I work in Surulere, I'm always work starts at 9. I'm always at the office before 7. I'm glad that long distance has always been a problem for me. So I leave home early, you know. So as you transition in your career, look at different stages that you are in. How impactful am I in this team? So I noticed because I dress very well. When my CEO wanted to go for meetings, she said, go and call that boy. I was not even in the sales team initially. I was in a team called COE, Center of Excellence. The team was supposed to be a fusion of sales and marketing. And for people who could utility roles. So it was myself and one lady. She eventually became line manager of the team, because it was my CEO that particularly all of us, not HR, came looking for us on LinkedIn and all that. And every time he wanted to go for a meeting, go and call that guy, go and call that guy. So they used to call me pastor because I always wore a suit, wore a jacket, fancy colors and everything. Go and call that guy with his leather bag, laptop bag. Go and call that boy. So I'll go for meetings. And I began to take notes in these meetings in such a way, even if you didn't attend, but you saw the report, you know what each person said. And I won't tell you my secrets, but of course you can tell what it was. My notes were so detailed. So I now knew my impact that, okay, they want someone that can go for meetings and can give a good report without them having to call for a meeting to now pass down what was said. I noticed that in my team. Then my female colleagues, because we're a team of 12 sales leaders, the top performing 6 people were all women. I didn't see them as competition like my other male colleagues saw them like, oh, women are, the way guys can be very funny. Oh, they are doing something. But I tell me that they're not doing something behind what I just had to learn from this what they are doing differently. So I became very close to them and I began to find their secrets. They had skills that were not in any sales book. Because there's several books I'll recommend. You will read a lot, but there's several things you'll not see in those books. But reading wide would open your mind to situations, how you can use the stories you've heard in your own situation. So I want to follow for acts like my line manager. This guy has been troubling me to meet him outside the office, and I'm not going to do that. So I want you to come, just sit behind, don't say a word. I'll just talk to him and say, my here, okay, just give me that PO now because this man is on my, And these were my senior colleagues, by the way. Some had 8 years more experience than I did. Some had 6 years more experience. So when I've been in the company 4 or 5 years before I came in, and I was just less than 6 months in. But they began to see use for me, saying, just follow for this meeting. So I began to see how it works like magic. So we began to do that role-playing thing everywhere. I saw my impact. I saw my influence, and they could trust my integrity that I would show up. A skill you also need to build is storytelling. So I'm engaging you with storytelling and you're listening. You need to know how to tell cute stories when you should. It's a very important skill. Not too many people have it. Even when people want to gist you, they've watered it down with over dramatization. I have gist for you. Something happened today. The drama is too much, but carry on a journey. When you are so one thing I'm learning now is I'm on TV and on radio is how to speak to the different elements in the room. Because one thing I've learned being on TV is the fact that I can be talking, but there could be several people who are watching. So how do I speak in such a way kids can find themselves, people in government can find themselves and be able to relate to what I'm saying? Some people are doing demo, they're so excited, they're facing only the IT guys, forgetting that the decision maker, the guy who signs the check, might be feeling left out. So storytelling helps you do that, deliver and land your points well. Then it's also important to learn to shift from being a team, from being a how do you call it now, individual contributor to being an enabler in your team. It's important. It's very important. So I want to shift real quick to Skills for every level. Skills for every level. So let's say between year 1 to year 3, and to basics, things you need to know are things like prospecting. I mentioned it before. Mindset. You need to have a strong mindset. Be coachable. Let's go mid-level, 3 years to 6 years. Mid-level, yeah, that's what they call mid-level. 3 years to 6 years. You need to have advanced skills. Advanced skills like consultative selling. You need to be able to negotiate a deal. You need to have relationship building skills. You need to you need to have a mindset shift from being transactional to being relational. Because people make buying decisions emotionally, but justify them rationally. What do I mean? They like you. You've been there for them. You connected. I want to do this deal with you, but it doesn't make sense. Your deal is more expensive than the other guy, but these guys are going to give us quality. So that's how he's going to rationalize it. It's quality, but it's actually because he likes you, and it's because you built a relationship. So I like to phase them as phase 1 to 3 years, entry level, basics, emotional intelligence, prospecting. Let me put it out. Do I need to type this in the chat? Maybe no. I'll get there. If you have questions, I could type them in the chat. But phase 2, 3 to 6 years, you need to shift your mindset from being transactional to building relationships. You're not just selling a product now. You're solving a problem. You need to see a problem. You need to build a story around the problem you're solving. So now let's say upward 7 years and above. Now this is senior leadership. At this level, you're supposed to be a line manager over 1 or 2. And if you're not, fine. But at least you could have a leadership mindset where you're doing strategic thinking, influencing decision making. You are using data to do your day-to-day. You're going from the me mindset to we. You're enabling your team to succeed at a big level. Leadership is not about I'm going to be the best seller of this. I'm going to be the guy that sells the most, or I will show them to making others better. This guy doesn't look the emails very well. Their emails are always full of typo errors. Just coach the person, show the person the book that helped you, and all that, and at that level now you're thinking, this is skills that you can start building now, irrespective of the level you are in, because sales is dynamic. I always tell people, I do not limit myself to reading sales books. I still do. But much more, I'm reading books on psychology, selling psychology, because selling methodologies will change, but human behavior never change. Human behavior never change. You need to start learning how to become a mentor, how to network strategically. Sometimes we go for a lot of tech events, and to you, I can tell the moment you say hello, they're trying to sell me real estate. I can tell. Hello, hi, good afternoon. My name is Chioma. Hi, what do you do? Hi, what do you do? And I'm like, I do whatever it takes. And they'll laugh when I say that. Because I think people sometimes ask what you do so they can see how much respect to give you. So I hardly tell people what I do. What do you do? I do whatever it takes. Yeah, that's what I do. Because they've not been trained. I don't come like that. I come from the fact that, God, the way you're looking, I'm sure your MD is afraid of you. You look like you're a power broker. Look like you work in the bank. I may be wrong, but if you're in the bank, you must be an ED. I'm whining you, but I'm gathering intel. You're not saying, no, a bank can. No, I'm a startup founder. I'm like, you are a founder? No, come on. Have you worked in the bank before? Oh, no, I work in a fintech. See, I'm close. We're having conversations, but I've not asked you what you do yet. It's now you that open your mouth to say, oh, I do this. Then I could maybe lead you on by saying, oh, I'm this, and I do this. But some people just come and meet you, hi, good afternoon, it's good to me. I just want to come and meet you and collect your number because I need it. What? Where have you been? Who raised you? Who trained you? So yeah. One of the things I would say at this point is, at every point in your career that you have found yourself, as far as you're a sales leader, a salesperson, sales manager, you need to be seeking mentorship. You need to seek mentors early. We had an event recent. I think it was not even recently now. I don't know when was this. Where Gertrude and I spoke, and I said you might not be lucky to have someone who's a direct mentor, but you can actually have people you draw inspiration from. They could be, if I ask a few people now to tell me who their mentors are, they'll mention their pastor, or they'll mention one actor or someone that is very distant. They forget that the person in your office that's doing very well could be an inspiration. You may not like the person. Oh, this person could be hell on earth. But this person is killing it. They're doing good numbers. I like success, so I draw close to it. When I found that the top 6 salesperson in us were all women, I became their friend. I was not subservient, or I was not being, silly, but I was just being there. What can I do to learn? And so I asked them point blank, oh, there's something you're doing that I really need to know. What are you doing? I was okay, follow me throughout tomorrow. And I'll just, for the first 1-2 weeks, I'll just be following them aimlessly. Let's go for your meetings together. Let's go for your meetings together. After a while, I'll say, Ken, do the introduction. Oh, take this slide. This is my slide I reworked. Tell this. And I hand on like slide when me I prepare. She has to just carry on like saying at your own. I said, I don't follow you for 2 times. I'm seeing stuff. I'm seeing adding my own persona to it. So there are several people I work with today, or that you can actually draw a lot of inspiration from. So if you don't have a mentor, someone you reach up to, or look up to, you can call and ask questions. You can learn from people around you. You can read books. I read a lot of books from sales leaders that sometimes I go back to, I won't leave a book until I know what to do with it. If I read a book that's interesting, I will keep it on repeat, and I'll read it until I know, yes, this is what I'm supposed to solve with this book that I read. So it's important to seek out mentors early. Find someone in your space. Might be someone you reach out to on LinkedIn, might be someone working for another company. Just say, oh, I hear about you, man. I think I want to be in your corner. There's so much you're doing, and I want to learn from you. It doesn't take anything from you. Some will say yes, some will say no, but just keep your life and keep going forward. By all means necessary. Keep making progress. Keep making progress. So about leading, go from leading, staying updated with tools, continuous learning, continuous reading, seeking mentorship, emotional intelligence. If something would not matter in 5 years, don't give it more than 5 minutes, however painful it is. Except maybe the loss of life, loss of someone close. If it's a deal and in 5 years it won't matter, don't give it more than 5 minutes. You need to develop your emotional intelligence. There are books by Daniel Goleman. You should find them and read. There are different versions, HBR reviews of emotional intelligence. You should develop your mindset in such a way there's no news that can keep you awake, except even if you lose your job. And we're going to get to that, where you should start developing your own brand outside your job. Should anything happen, we're in the day and age of AI, where AI will replace a lot of things that we do. So how are you what skills do you currently have? You can decide to go off salary, earning the salary for 6 months, and you won't die. Can you sell hair? Can you sell wigs? Can you start a business with someone? Can you do a middleman? What is it? You need to start developing yourself outside your current job. You need to live a life that you're not dependent on someone's paycheck. So you need to build your brand. So that's why today I don't tell people I work here. I don't work here. I am this. This is who I am. So tomorrow you don't find me there. You don't say, what happened? No, nothing happened. I am this. I'm expressing myself anywhere I find myself, either in this company or no. You get. So you need to have self-awareness. You need to have empathy. You need to be able to adapt to any situation or circumstance. Adaptability, for me, I think is what separates good sellers from great leaders. There are two different things. You can be a good seller, but you're not a great leader, because some people are not adapting. They don't adapt to different situations, And it's also important to move from being an independent contributor, where it was your number that saved the company. Last month, someone said something in the chat. Okay, I haven't seen that, but it feels like someone said something in the chat. Okay, if you want more, ignore. Okay, great.
Ignore. Ignore.
Okay. All right. So, at this point, I'd like to ask if anyone has a question. I want to make it more personal before I go further. Let's take it more personal. Does anyone have a question they'd like to ask me? Because I have questions I want to ask. Hi.
I can. Yeah, so sorry, there was a part you mentioned that leadership isn't a title. And leader. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead. I can hear you.
Hello. Yeah, you mentioned at a point you mentioned that.
Yeah, I did also. Go ahead. I can hear you.
You mentioned that leadership isn't a title, and that leadership are 3 things. I didn't get that part, so I don't know if there's a way you can get back at that and let us know.
Okay. Okay. Remember, I think I mentioned it's integrity, influence, and impact. Put that in the chat so everyone can see it. Let me type in the chat. Leadership is not just a title, it's impact, influence, and integrity. Yeah, so I have it in the chat. But I have a question before I wrote that. So I wrote, what's one skill you focus on after this session? You know, I like to think about it while we continue. Then I also had another question here. I see your hands are up, John. I'll come to you. I said, which phase of your sales journey are you currently in? Are you learning? Are you scaling? Or are you leading? So you should be able to find. So I've divided different levels of sales into three. So if you're an entry level, mid level, you're still maybe learning. Maybe especially if you pivoted into tech sales from somewhere else, you're learning this. Then you also have who's scaling. You're a mid level manager. You're a team lead, or you're an individual contributor, but not an entry level. So you're contributing immensely to the bottom line of your organization at scaling. Then if you're a team lead, you're responsible for profit and loss, for revenue growth for the business. You're making things happen. So it would be nice to know the different phase, because people didn't respond initially, so I had to tweak it a different way. What phase of your journey? It would be nice to have everyone respond. So I mean scaling, I mean leading and all that. Then what's Adidotun just asked me, the leadership I said is not just the title. Impact, it's I call it the three eyes. The three eyes. The three eyes. All right, so John, go ahead. You had your hands raised, John. Hello,
Yeah.
John.
Hi,
You still
Ken.
there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Hi, Ken. Can you hear me now?
Hi, John.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you
Loud
hear
and
me?
clear. Go ahead, please.
All right. Thank you so much for this section. So I wanted to
Loud and
ask you,
clear.
so was like the right way to connect with someone on LinkedIn, if you don't mind?
Oh, fantastic question. Fantastic question. Ooh, I love it. I love it. I would have loved to share a template, but one thing on Nigerians is sometimes we abuse things. We just say everybody will just start using that template until the whole world will realize that what's going on. So normally when I connect with people on LinkedIn, I always like to be the first to say, drop a message. So I typically go, hi, I looked at your profile. You're the kind of leader every young person like me should aspire to becoming. It's a delight to have you in my corner. And please, don't be a stranger. Typical, I would like to write. There was a year I grew LinkedIn from 3,000 to 23,000 today by commenting and wishing people happy birthdays with very personal birthday messages. So there are people who you know, some people just connect with you and the next thing they're asking you, hey, do you have investments? Do you sell land? I won't respond to you because it doesn't work that way. I can't just see someone on the road and walk up to you and say, hi, I'm MNK. Hi, good. My name is Kenneth. Hey, please, are you wearing belts? I sell belt and I sell socks. You look at me like, are you out of your mind? You know? Uh-oh. 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 I think I was off for a second. That's what my internet. My apologies. You know, so people do that on LinkedIn. You just connecting with someone, and the next thing you're already pitching. So my company like this, we'll sell rug, we'll sell carpet, we'll sell roof, we'll sell tile, we'll sell cement. So which one are you buying? Calm down now. It's not like that. People do business with people they know, people they like, and people they trust. So when you connect with people on LinkedIn, sell them happiness. Everybody likes to be praised. They like that. Why I don't say wine them, sha, but you know this thing they go now like, hey boss, I look at your profile. Your profile is tight. Every young person in this generation should be following you. Like you're a thought leader by excellence. Gosh, me, it's not delightful for me to be in your corner. Or, you know, I'll be in your DMs a lot. It's good to have you here. They could respond. If they don't respond, it doesn't affect the hair on your head. But I always like to say, plant trees before you need them. Enter people's DMs before you need them. You know, it won't be nice the first time I enter my DM asking, hey, Ken, do you know Gertrude? She works with this place. Can you help me get her number? I don't even know you. But if you have wished me happy birthday before, or you've been in my DMs like, oh, I saw what you posted. I think I really agree with your comments on this. Or I slightly disagree. Can you educate me on this? You now come to me to ask me, please, do you know MNK? I see it's your mutual connection. I'm obligated to say, oh, I do know him, but let me ask him if I can share his number with you. So that's how to connect to people on LinkedIn. like, engage their content if they post a lot, engage their content, like, share, comment. Sometimes post contrarian views. You have ChatGPT at your disposal. Copy his post and ask ChatGPT, provide me a contrarian view to this, but not disagreeing with him. Agree with him, but take this idea a step notch and a step further and say, oh, Gertrude posted this. Look at how I see this also. I agree with you, but this has been my own experience. Sometimes I post very interesting things on LinkedIn just for the comments. I did one recently and I got over 100 reposts, and it was interesting. Out of boredom, I do that once in a while. I could just come on there and write a very interesting story to remind people that I'm still on LinkedIn. So always plant trees before you need them. When you reach out people on LinkedIn, be the first to drop a message. It doesn't take anything from you. And on birthdays, sit down. Every birthday, sit down and write happy birthday to people. You'll be shocked. They may not respond, but they saw it. That's the truth. So plant trees before you need them, because you might meet I met someone one time at an event. For someone like me that's always active on LinkedIn, this guy had sent me happy birthday messages 2 years back to back, and we met at an event. High profile person. So let's connect on LinkedIn. Say, oh, apparently we're connections. He now said, I've even sent you messages twice and you didn't respond. He felt like the ground should open and swallow me. Like, what? How? I tried to explain that, sir, almost thousands of messages per day. He said, no, I get it. So me now, I went to his DM every so often to just say, hello, just checking on you. So yeah, I think it's important to be intentional with building your contacts and building your network. Really, it is very, very, very important. I want to do something really interesting. I want to talk about 12 steps, 12 strategies for sales growth. Really, I think the first one is assess your current skills, your gap, your strength, and things you need to find out where you are really. There are several tests online for sales leaders, for sales managers, psychometric tests. If you just put it online, like I said, you have the chat AIs to help you with that. Take as many tests as possible. I do that out of boredom. You need to also set goals, career goals that are aligned with your personal growth and vision. Where do you want to go in 5 years? Do you want to be a founder? Sales is a transferable skills. Anybody can come into sales. Anybody can be selling. You can be selling toilet cleaners in your factory, and tomorrow you're working in tech or working at sales. Anybody can work in sales. Everybody can be a doctor. You have to go train for it. But that doesn't mean that everybody should be in sales. You see, so you need to set smart goals, smart career goals, where you want to be. Even sales goals, how much you want to sell in your career. I'm looking forward to doing $2 million a month. I'm looking forward to it. So you need to master core sales competencies. What I call core for me are communication, negotiation, and prospecting. So the order in which it comes is communication, prospecting, and negotiation. But anyhow you like it, learn to analyze customer data. How do you see a customer's email and be able to tear it apart and know what they're not saying from an email? And I said I was going to come to this. Number 5 for me in your 12 steps for sales growth or career, for growth in your sales career, is build a personal brand internally and externally. In every organization I work, they know me for a few things. You can't come to the office earlier than I am, no matter where you live. No matter where I live, I will get to the office before you. And I show up correct. I come to the office clean, look good. So when they're looking for someone to send, they will send me. Yes, I show up correct. You don't have to be expensive, but be intentional. Every company I've worked for, even long after leaving, people still find it hard to detach me with the company, because I realized I was selling so much that I carried the brand on my head. I left an organization a while ago. My number is still on the company website. I think whether it missed by error or whatever, but I don't know. And sell yourself externally as well. So how are you putting yourself out there intentionally? How do people see you? So find a mentor. It's important to have a coach or a guide on your journey. You need to be able to assess your progress from time to time. You need to develop leadership skills. People always call this thing soft skills. So I had to do a research recently. Reading a book by oh my God, I've read so much books in the last 2 weeks. I'm mixing up all their names. I'm reading a book about the history of the word soft skills. So it was first used for the military in the US, where if it's about weapons, they call it hard skills when you're training people on how to use weapons, ammunitions, and all of that. But it was supposed to be called character skills, but they said no, let's call it soft skills because it's not with weapons. That's how the word soft skills was invented. So I began to learn. I wanted to learn, why do we call it soft skills? So it is actually character skills. How do you your sense of judgment? Oh my God, what's that? Your sense of judgment, empathy, how you show up to life, your decision-making ability, your character skills, leadership skills. How do you volunteer to put yourself in uncomfortable situations? Do you volunteer for cross-functional projects in your organization? It helps you build strategic thinking. I have volunteered for high-level meetings I knew I shouldn't be at. People were not comfortable having me there, but I learned a few things and I contributed in ways that I would never be forgotten. For instance, it was COVID year. We're all working from home. The world was on lockdown. Our company had a culture at the time of having conclaves every January. It was a multinational. Every staff will fly from wherever they are, come camp in Lagos for a week and all that. Now it was company culture. So how were they going to do this? It wasn't going to be virtual. The CEO insisted, "Is our culture? We have to come to Nigeria and all that." And they were deliberating, should we not? So it was the recess, it was break. So the GM brought his laptop to sit in my office, the office space where I sat in, and he was just racking his brain around it, talking with the HR. So I just said, "Sir, can I contribute? Can I just make a suggestion?" I host events. I'm an event host outside sales. And I said, it's simple. Now, the rules now, because of COVID, states that anyone coming to the country will have to do COVID tests in their country before they leave. Once they land in Nigeria, they'll do COVID tests. In their hotel, they'll do COVID tests. It's just crazy. We're going to spend almost about 21 million on COVID testing for about 300 employees, about 4 to 6 tests. If we're going to camp together, about 30 million thereabouts, if I'm not mistaken at that time. 50,000 times 6 times, times 300 people. I may be wrong, but around 30 million. Maybe my maths is failing me now. But I said, "Sir, can we do something really simple? Those who have done COVID tests can still use their, test for the next 1-2 weeks. We're supposed to have this conclave. But can we put out a form where if you're open to gathering and you're open to maybe fist bumping, you're open to fist bumps, you elbow bump, you can wear an amber lanyard, orange lanyard. If you're open to hugs but with your face mask on and you wear your gloves or whatever it is, you wear a green lanyard. But if you don't want human contact at all, no one should come close to you, you wear a red lanyard. It saves us money." And that idea was what changed the whole business. They're like, "What? That was cost saving." But till tomorrow, do you know the MD does not know the idea came from me? It doesn't matter, but I helped save the GM and the head of HR. So now they asked them, put up a committee to implement this. The first person GM mentioned was Ken. First person HR mentioned was Ken. But the MD was now, what have you got? What is someone in sales having to do? They're like, "Oh no, it's our secret sauce." So find a way to volunteer for things that are a bit bigger than you. And I always tell people, walk 3 steps above your job description. Walk 3 steps above. People walk 3 steps below their current job description and you're seeking promotion. So when you are even asking for your promotion, you shouldn't be asking. People should see. It should be obvious that you're doing above your pay grade and you're drawing, you're calling it into being. And I always say use feedback loops to continuously refine your skills. Seek feedback, actively seek feedback. Actively document and celebrate your wins. It's important. Everything you do, always write a report to yourself every Friday. What you did this week. I began to do that thing sometime and it changed me. I started one year in January. Every Friday, I had an email trail from myself to myself, from my office email to my direct personal email. And I maintained that mail trail every Friday. This is what happened Monday. The person that pissed me off, like a diary to myself. And by the end of April, I was a different guy. I stopped complaining a lot. I was now more strategic, and I was celebrating my wins. The person that pissed me off in the office, I wrote it. Something my line manager said I didn't like, I wrote it there. So the day he wanted to be moving mad, I'll bring evidence that you said this on this day and time. If it was a phone call, I'll take screenshots of the phone call so that the date and how long the call was will be there. I'll attach it to the email. And I began to keep and document stuff. So when I talk with authority because I have evidence. Not because I'm out to put anyone under the bus, but it's just to document and celebrate my own wins. So to maintain motivation, really. Then I always like to create iteration of 90 days. I always talk about this book, the first 90 days. People should pick it up and read. I change myself every 3 months. I'm reading something new, I'm learning something new. In 3 months, I'm a different guy, you know. And number 12 is stay current with market trends and trends impacting sales really. So I think I'll just copy that. These are things I really wanted to drop with you all. And I think everyone can take advantage of that. Oh, oops. Okay, so should I share that? Should I? Did people take note of that? I don't know, but there you have it. I'll share the ones I can. Then I'll leave you with something else. I think I should share some books. I think at this point I'll turn on my video and show you something. So I want to drop with you some links to some books. If you're not reading, if you don't have, someone said if your wardrobe, if your library is not half the size or half the cost of your wardrobe, you are wrong. Let me turn my video on at this point. Are you ready to see my face? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? There you go. So I think I want to take questions on my video on, but I want to also do something. I just dropped a link for everyone, and it's on different books that you should be reading. I'm privileged I'm doing this from my room, so I'll be showing you some books. I don't know if you can see this. Oops. So I can't go a week without reading. So this one is Surrounded by Setbacks. It will help you when it comes to handling setbacks when things go bad. You're pursuing a deal, you lose it, how to move ahead. This one is called Surrounded by Psychopaths. Surrounded by Psychopaths. Yeah, it's by the same author, Thomas Erickson. Then there's one called Surrounded by Bad Bosses. Sometimes you work for people that are moving mad, so you need to protect yourself. This one is Surrounded by Idiots. You could be working with people who are idiots. So how do you protect yourself? This one is Surrounded by Bad Energy. All written by the same person. I mean, I have a collection of this. There was a time I used to have book budgets, monthly book budgets. I could also share the contact of my book plug in Ikeja. Every month, she knows what she should send to me. So for those in sales leadership, there's the Sales Acceleration Formula by Mark Roberge. This is about negotiation. Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. 10x would change. This is how I grew paid HRs. By the way, paid HR announced they raised a few days ago. I led the revenue for paid HR for a bit, so I knew they were going to raise. Was part of the work we did. I grew the revenue by 10x, reading this book. 10x Rule by Grant Cardone. Then Sales Psychology by Brian Tracy. You need to be studying. You need to. Well, in the day where if you can't get this book, you don't have an excuse, because there's something called Audible. Now, Audible is an Amazon software, is a book platform. What we used to do then, that year with my colleagues in 2018-19 was in dollars. So we would get our money together. One person creates an email, then she pays, and everyone has access to it. So this is Brian Tracy, The Psychology of Selling. This is Sell Like Crazy by Sabri Subi. By the way, I got to work with Sabri Subi for a bit, for just about a month or two before I left an organization. And his sales mindset blew me apart. He built a sales and marketing company in Australia called King Kong. Is it King Kong? No, King Kong, yes. Sabri Subi is a sales beast. Then you have Gap Selling by Keenan. Gap Selling, these are books I have consumed over time for years. Then there's Selling Boldly. I have tons of them. I have about maybe 200 books in my bedroom that I pick. But also I have much more on my phone. Like on my can I show you my screen now? But I have so much. I'm reading one right now called Seeing the Unseen. If you can see my phone, Seeing the Unseen. Behind Chinese Tech Giants. I have hundreds and hundreds of books on my phone. You can't be waiting for HR's plan on your own career and waiting for the company to train you. You have to be on the go. One time we had a meeting sometime in 2019. I was in a meeting. I was in Microsoft. I was working at the time, and Shoyi Tinubu, the president's son, walked into that meeting. But I'd been keeping tabs with his company, so I knew he just acquired Emotion. I don't know. He worked at, he owned Lutsat Promo Media, but he bought over Emotion, Emotion, whatever that it was called. So he walked into the room and everybody was scared because of security and all that. I walked up to him and I said, Mr. Shay, congratulations on your acquisition of Emotion. There's several things you can help you do with technology. And he was interested all of a sudden. First of all, he was interested. Someone know him enough to know his company and how technology can help. And I just introduced him to my MD, my MD CEO, my GM, and the vice president. And they were like, do you know him before? I'm like, no. So how is he so comfortable with you? Active listening, being present, being able to read the room, to know this is who I'm standing in front of. This is how much value I can offer him, you know. So I'm seeing a lot of I think I should turn my video off at this point. It might be a bit distracting. So thank you very much, Ken. This is so good. Currently reading Diary CEO. Oh yes, I mean I listen to Stephen Bartlett at least once every 2-3 days. I listen to his podcast. So yes, I'm on transit, struggling to hear clearly. Please, could someone kindly drop these books on the group? Okay, sure. You get that. So I just shared some links that would guide you. It will take you to where you can get this stuff. I like to do a kind of reading that's dangerous. I read the actual hard copy and I listen to the soft copy at the same time. It's deeper reinforcement for me. I can pause at any time, go back, take notes and all that. So I like to do both. But when I can't find a physical book, I just do the audio book and I go by it over and over and over and over again. So I think your growth is in your hands. Let nothing or no one stop you. Your growth is in your hands. I'd like to end by saying it's important to have a clear roadmap of your skills, of the skills you need to develop. And I've been able to drop the 12 actionable strategies to implement immediately. And I want you to take ownership for your growth. You have leadership potential. Everyone in here has leadership potential. Take absolute ownership of your own growth. Take absolute ownership of your own growth. Don't wait for nobody. You know, when telling your story, nobody should hold the pen. When telling your story, no one should hold the pen. You should keep evolving. There's several things happening. And when you come to a certain knowledge of who you are, first of all, when you know that you are your first product as a salesperson, you will know the kind of culture where you're not fit to work in. You will know. I've worked in an organization for 4 months. I've worked in an organization for 3 days. Very large organizations. You know, the interview went very well, but I just knew something wasn't right. So I had to figure it out. I got in after 3 days. I realized it was the wrong step, and I politely removed myself from the situation. You know, it doesn't take anything from me. So yes, at this point, it's enough yapping from me. I'd like to take questions. Questions, please. I'd like to take questions. So let's go. Who has questions for me? Does anybody have questions for me? Or does anybody want me to put them on the spot? Hi, Akiola Titilayo. Please go ahead with your question.
Hi, Ken. Good evening. Thank you so much for the value you've been sharing. It's a lot. I've written a lot already. So, actually, I'm a product manager, and before I transitioned, I really love sales and marketing. Like, I really, really love, selling to people, listening to like Myron Godin, Alex Hamosi. Like, I've been trying to, sharpen my skill, but in product management, I've been looking for how I can, start with being a product growth manager and all. But given your expertise, what would you advise I focus on, given my, my interest and
That's a very interesting question, Titilayo. So, as a salesperson, you are the voice of the customer in your product meetings. You already interact with customers, or your previous roles you've interacted with customers. You understand sales is the transfer of enthusiasm from the salesperson to the buyer. So you are now asking questions like a salesperson, like, what would you like to demo? If we're going to demo this product, what would you like to say as a standout feature? I always like to tell my team, always have a wow moment in every demonstration. So if you're going to build with the customer in mind. What would you like to have as a wow moment? So it helps you in your design thinking. So you represent the voice of the customer in those meetings. Yes, it's important to have transferable skills, which is what sales already provide you. But at the same time, you need to be true to yourself. If you find that you are in a situation where your skills are not don't come alive, take a step back and ask questions. But I think one of the best, if you are in sales and you have not tried to leave sales, you're not a salesperson. I mean, I've gone to product dive and I dropped out. I've done product school in the US, but I haven't really built a product because I now understand how it works. I have an MBA. I have an MBA in project management, so there's several things I can do with my selling nature, and I'm seeing it handy now. At this point, I don't even know if I no, let me not go that direction, but really be true to yourself, understand who you are first of all and what you want, and um yeah, I think I always say a salesperson in every product situation is the voice of the customer. So yes, I hope I answered your question correctly. See,
Thank you so much.
thank you, Titilayo. Fade Adeyemi, I haven't heard from you. Gloria, Esa, it'd be nice to have questions. Adeyemi, Rachel, Agbo, Tessie, Chebet, Carol, Confidence, Etido, Effiong. Nice to have questions from you all as well. Kate and Helen. All right, go ahead.
Hi, Ken. I don't want to believe that a lot of people here are not bombarding you with questions. I have questions. I have lots of questions, but we're way past our time, and I'm being conscious of that. But I'm curious to know how people in the room who are entry level in sales, how they feel about this conversation and how this is going to help them going forward. Ken has dropped a litany of germs already, and I want to make sure that this was really helpful for them. Some persons I know here just got stable roles in tech sales and are trying to figure out how to navigate their career and their new roles. It can be scary, it can be daunting, and all of that. If you have questions, please ask. All right. So my question is top of mind. Ken, what is it for you now going forward in sales? How do you intend, beyond all of this that you've shared, how do you intend to pursue and just build on what you have already done in sales right now for the nearest future, say in the next 5-10 years for you?
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. So for me at this point, I am taking a step back to build more startups. So I consult for a lot of startups that are trying to scale. I believe more in solid teams, solid and efficient teams, and very large teams. So I'm consulting for a lot of startups that are trying to somehow not in the country trying to come into Nigerian market, somehow trying to leave Nigerian market. But I'm trying to coach more salespeople. Trying to
Amazing.
coach more salespeople. The support system we didn't have in our own time, which I mean, all these platforms were not available in our time. It was
Exactly.
those you work with, and that's it. You'll be surprised to even realize other companies have sales teams. Like, are you serious? I thought I was alone. You know, so I'm more open to, since the last conversation we had at the
At the event, at the other sales event, yeah.
yeah, several people reach out, ask questions, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what it is. Be able to share and help other people. But for me, I'm now evolving radio show. So I'm on
All right, that
television.
makes sense. Thank you so much for sharing that, Ken. Hi, the line is breaking. Is it just?
I
Oh, hi, Ken. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's also breaking from my end.
Okay, that means it's Ken's network then.
I'm a
Oh,
text. So
mm.
we tell
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Eminike, your hand is up. Please go ahead. While we're waiting for Ken's internet, I try to nudge him offline.
Okay.
Eminike, are you there?
Yes, I can hear you. I actually had questions I wanted to ask you. Oh, why am
Okay.
I?
Okay. So while we're waiting for Ken and while we're wrapping up, I just wanted to segue off what I asked Ken. You can see that with sales, there is no linear way that your career should go, especially for those who are just starting. There's so much to do. I started as a sales associate and moved on to being a business development executive. And then now I do sales operations, core sales operations. That's what I do at the moment. And now you can see even Ken is already consulting. There is so much that you can do. And why I like tech sales, and I'm not limiting this conversation to just tech sales, because what I've seen as well is that we have a lot of people who are salespeople across different sectors. Why I also like tech sales specifically is because you can do it from anywhere in the world and work for any company in the world. We have people in our community who are working for companies in the abroad and they're making good money, earning in dollars, earning amazing commissions. So it is definitely a career path that one should take very seriously. And I don't know if you guys follow this guy on Instagram that when he meets somebody, you say, "Hi, how did you make your first million?" Something like that. I can't remember his name exactly on Instagram, but he's also on TikTok and he's very popular. You'd see that most of the people that he interviews, they would always say, "Oh, you need to have a sales skills. Oh, what is that has brought you so far?" They'll be like, "Oh, selling. I can sell water to anybody." So sales is such a pivotal skill to have. And if at some point in your life you feel like, I don't want to do this anymore, I promise you, you would sell regardless. You're either selling a pitch to your boss somehow, or selling an idea to your team for them to act on, or selling your personality, your career, or whatever. You don't necessarily have to be, actively buying and selling for you to be selling. So sales is such a pivotal part of our lives, especially as people who are trying to build something for ourselves. So I'm glad you all are here. I'm glad you all took time out to be a part of this session. It's quite sad that Ken's internet had to be funky at the end of the call. But if you have any questions, please drop it in the community. If you're not a part of our community on Slack, we'd like to do this every month. We try to do this every month. We all have our careers and our jobs, so it's really not easy doing this consistently. But every time we do it, I am reminded of why we should keep doing it. Akachi, I don't know if Akachi is on the call, but Akachi is the co-founder of Tech Sales Nexus. Emenike here is our community manager. If you have questions, you can connect with us on LinkedIn, join the Slack community, and we'll be pleased, more than pleased, to help you in any way or form. I don't know if you have any questions for me. If not, I'll let you enjoy the rest of your night, and just be out of your hair generally. Eminike, do you have anything to say?
No, nothing more. Thank you very much,
Okay.
everyone, for joining. And we'll share resources and the recommendations Ken shared on the group.
Absolutely. Thank you. Good night, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye.